Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be previewing Notre Dame's first game, the Week 0 matchup against Navy that takes place in Ireland this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on NBC. So just to start, Notre Dame is 20.5-point favorites, I believe, is the current odds right now in terms of the spread. It's a pretty big number, of course, but it's not surprising, I'd say, based on just kind of the expectations of these teams heading into the season, some of the roster makeup, and some of the turnover involved in Navy. I'm going to start by talking about Navy, give you kind of a rundown on what the deal is over there as much as I can. I'm not an expert on the Navy football team, and honestly, Navy is one of the tougher teams to look real deep into because it's not like, the recruiting and the transfer portal and that stuff. It works very different with the military academies. A lot of development going on in military academies, not a lot of high-profile recruits you would remember or know, even if you follow recruiting pretty heavy, along with the fact that they're not really hitting the portal for players, given just it's the nature of these schools. So, but either way, there is stuff we can know for sure, such as Navy was said to be returning 17 starters, 7 offense, 9 on defense, and a punter. They have a new coach, by the way. I go out of order. We should know this by now. But their new coach is Brian Newberry. He was the defensive coordinator the last few years at Navy, and it's his first year head coaching in college at all, I believe, is what it's saying. Offensive coordinator is also new. It's Grant Chestnut, who comes over from Kennesaw State. So the option's still there. It's not a complete overhaul. I think it makes sense for Navy to still try to run an option, just given the like I said, the recruiting game works different for them. So either way, the defense was pretty good last year. In fact, they were, according to these rankings that I'm looking at, anyways, through Lindy Sports. So if it's wrong, it's blame Lindy's, not me. They were 4th in rushing yards per game. Sorry, that was offensively. We'll get to that, but they were the 2nd best rushing defense in the country last year, and the 31st best in terms of total defense. So not awful. The passing D was kind of a problem for them. In fact, they ranked 97th in passing defense and 51st in scoring defense. So there is weaknesses there. Obviously, it's a new team, and with college football more than most, there is definitely overturn. But like I said, they're not making big splashes for the most part. These are kids who just develop gradually through the system. So I'm not sure how different it will be. But either way, that defense is good, especially against the run, which makes sense. That's what, iron sharpens iron, and they are constantly facing a very potent rushing offense in practice. So it shouldn't shock you that they're pretty good against the run. But I do think that secondary is what they need to work on, and where Notre Dame will probably try to take advantage. Something they couldn't really do last year. Just, based on the fact of who the quarterback was and just the way that team played. But either way, like I said, sorry guys if I'm rambling a little bit. All 3 down linemen, so the front 3 and both of their starting inside linebackers are returning this year, which is always good for continuity reasons. Like I said, they had 9 defenders who started last year returning. So that's just in terms of, for Navy, that is very good. That means that the roster overall isn't real heavy this year. Most of these guys played last year, and in a team that is known for growing the players throughout, that is probably good for this Navy program, meaning on paper they're probably a better team this year than they were last year. They also return Daba Fofana, is how you say that name. He had 769 rushing yards last year and 6 touchdowns, which he led Navy in rushing yards last year, by the way, with that number. But you'd think maybe they have one over 1,000, but then you realize, they all rush, so everyone's getting a piece of the pie there. But that's a threat, and he's the guy, I guess, if you have to give an X factor, like I normally do, David Fofana's going to be my X factor for that Navy offense. Anyways, so I guess, sorry, it's just, with Navy it's tough because we know what they are at this point. Notre Dame plays them every year, but last year was kind of a nightmare game for Notre Dame, escaping with the win 35-32, and that was late in the season too. That wasn't some of the early hiccups. That was one of those late hiccups. Luckily, we survived that, talking as a Notre Dame fan. I think this is our chance to make a statement, though. I think this is how you kind of show people that you're not the same team you were last year, who just constantly let teams in games who shouldn't have been in those games, and in fact even losing some of those. Marshall. So yeah, it's just, we better be different this year anyways, is all I'd say. I think this game really is going to be a proving point or a talking point if it doesn't go well. Like, even if we win, if Notre Dame doesn't win convincingly, it's going to stick in the minds of a lot of Irish fans until they can wipe it clean next week if they blow someone out or something like that. But either way, I think even if you win big the next week, that the image of inconsistency is still going to be stuck in our heads for a while, given just how inconsistent we looked as a team last year as well. So, not much to say about Navy. Like I said, the coaching staff has changed, but that team's pretty much staying the same. Most of the players are back, but we just have to hopefully really widen the gap from a 3-point win last year to a much bigger win this year. Just to talking about Notre Dame a little bit, I think the biggest X factor here, of course, is Sam Hartman. That's a huge piece. It's the main piece we did not have last season when facing this team. I mean, we put up 35 points, which isn't, for the offense last year, is actually pretty good, but I think we could even put up more, or even if we put up less, our defense should hopefully be able to hold them to less this year. Notre Dame's defense, I believe most of the people listed as starting on the depth chart are very experienced players who have been with the program or other programs in the instance of some transfers like John Baptiste or Thomas Harper. So those two, the exception of the rule, but everyone else who's super experienced on this roster starting for this defense means they've also played Navy several times throughout their career. So the triple option shouldn't be something that's really catching them off guard anymore. They should be very good and experienced at dealing with the triple option. The people who weren't last year, which have some now, which will hopefully help, was Marcus Freeman and our defensive coordinator, who's slipping my mind for some reason, and that's going to bother me. Al Golden's his name. Sorry about that. I don't slipped my mind. Notre Dame, I guess to be fair, I said there wasn't much turnover, but the head coach said the same, but Notre Dame is also breaking in 2 new coordinators, and Jared Parker, well, not new, sorry, Al Golden, sorry, but Jared Parker, the offensive coordinator, is new. But that offense, from everything we've heard, isn't too different than what they were running already, so that probably won't matter too much. But either way, the main point was that Al Golden and Marcus Freeman now have both dealt with Navy. In fact, Freeman's done it twice, counting his year as a coordinator too. So I think the experience of dealing with it, along with the starting defense for the most part being the veteran guys, should help improve that scoreline and hold Navy to way less points than what we let them score last season. I also think I feel like being the opening game and being in a different area might help with the focus of this team. You know, you're in a different country. It feels like a big event. You're the first game of the season. Like the entire college football landscape at the D1 level, you're the first ones playing. So I'm hoping that means there's more motivation there and there's no sleeping on this Navy team. If anything, they should have gotten a wake-up call from the last season's matchup and want to improve on what had happened. So, yeah, sorry, when I look down, it's because I'm trying to look at some of the numbers and stuff just to either refresh what I've already said or just look at some of these guys I need to focus on. But, yeah, Navy might try to throw in a little bit of passes. They actually kind of did that to us last season, so hopefully we'll be more ready for that. I'm not real worried about the wide receiver versus corner matchup. I mean, in my opinion, Notre Dame has one of the best corner rooms in the nation, and with freshman All-American last season, Benjamin Morrison back for hopefully an even better sophomore campaign, and other sophomores who didn't get to play but are also very talented, like Jaden McKee, just like waiting for their moment, along with Cam Hart, who's hopefully stays healthy, ready to go as well. I like the linebackers when it comes to run defense specifically. You have guys who are experienced. I think this is just, like I said, experience is going to win out with this. Even the quarterback isn't, the defense is still a regular defense. So he's seen pretty much every defense known to man. He's played all the games in college possible. Bro's, he's in his mid-20s basically, so Sam Hartman's a beast. I think he is a huge difference in this team. That'll probably be a pattern in most of the matchups we discussed this year, but especially with a team like Navy, I think Notre Dame goes out and makes a statement. They better not take their foot off the gas. I think this is a game you can keep your foot on the gas. make a point, announce yourself, like show who you are. I think it's important to set a tone for a season. And what better way to do that than just have a lot of fun and a blowout win in Ireland? So I'm really hoping that's what happens. I know neutral fans won't enjoy that as much because it's always fun to see close games or underdogs winning or fighting till the very end. But I'm really hoping that we win comfortably enough to cover that 20.5 point spread pretty easy. So in terms of score predictions, I am going to go, I think 35 was pretty high for us, the score on them last year, to be fair, and I'm not sure, as much as I want to keep a foot on the gas, there's just a reality to the fact that you kind of start to slow it down once you have a big lead, and I'm banking on the fact that the defense is going to do better. So I think I'm going to go, I'm going to even go higher than 35. I would say we win 38 to 13, and some of them Navy points come in what you'd call garbage time later in the game. That's going to be my guess. I'm hoping it's even better than that, but I'm trying to be conservative with this, and I just, like I've said before, I don't know how much I trust this team. This Notre Dame team was very inconsistent last year. I want them to desperately prove me wrong, so that's what we're going to be focusing on. I think that's 38 to 13 is my score prediction. Please comment your score predictions below. Let me know what you think of this game. I will talk with any of you in the comments about this matchup. We can probably go more in depth there than what I've had on the top of my mind here. This is when I'm filming super late. I just had a busy day. I worked late and then got distracted with other things. So I promise the rest of these previews will be a bit more in depth than this, but this was just kind of a quick one I needed to get done because it's already Friday and they play tomorrow. So I needed I'm filming this at it's like 2 or 3 a.m. and I'm going to upload it a couple hours from now. So you're seeing this Friday afternoon probably. So hi. Hopefully this game goes great for us tomorrow. Stay tuned for the post-game reaction. I am undecided. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it live this time. I'll be on the road, I think. But there will always be either a post-game video or a post-game live stream, depending on if I am in a place where I can. For the most part, I like doing the live streams more. It is more likely that night games will have post-games that are live. But either way, like I said, there will be post-games, so stay tuned for that. What I mentioned earlier was talking about players of the game and all that. Fofana is my X factor for Navy. That defense, their D-line's dangerous, like I said, against the run. So it's going to be really interesting. This is a test for this O-line who is, I think it has at least 2 new starters, if not 3, going against a Navy D-line that was very good against the run last year. Let's see how Audric Estime and the rushing attack will do. That's also a fun storyline to watch, is that the 1-2 punch of Estime and Diggs is no more, and let's see if Estime just becomes, his usage goes up even crazier, or if we start to introduce some of the other talented backs that are on this team who just haven't got their start yet, either due to injuries or just youth. And Jadarian Price, Gabrian Payne, Jeremiah Love, etc., all wait in the wings, hoping for their chance today. Saturday's game might be a good opportunity to give them that. But my X factors for Notre Dame is obviously going to be Sam Hartman on offense, and a guy like, I think Howard Cross is going to be a starter, but really whoever's playing that middle for us on that D-line is going to be very important, of course. The run defense is the focus, so just people who are going to be good at run D. The run defense is the X factor in this game. If you can defend a run as Notre Dame, you are going to have no problems beating Navy. But if you let them gas you and chew this clock and just methodically drive down the field, you are going to have problems this game, and it's really the last thing we want. So hopefully, like you heard my score of 38 to 13, I am banking on the experience of not only our quarterback, but our coach now dealing with Navy as a head coach, our defensive coordinator dealing with Navy and for his second time now, and the defense being filled with starters who are relatively experienced in the college game, and most of them for Notre Dame, meaning they've played Navy multiple times already. So yeah, guys, that's my preview of this game. I know this video wasn't my most professional preview, but I think I got my points across well enough. Like I said, my other ones will be filmed before 2 in the morning, so hopefully we'll go a little more in depth, and I'll know more of these players to really break it down. I'm not an expert in the triple option, so I can't really go full in depth on what I'm seeing there, or in terms of like I'm like, this guy's gonna be the guy to watch, or here, that's how they gash us. Really, like I said, this game's more of a simple stop the run, score. To be fair, that can work for a lot of games, but I mean, Navy really, even if they try to pass a bit more, I'm not. If they're beating us in the passing game, we have serious issues. But I highly doubt that happens. So we'll just go from there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to stay tuned for more of this stuff. Like I said, all year I do Notre Dame and Pittsburgh Steelers weekly previews for the games, and then post-game reactions to the games, either live or pre-recorded and uploaded the day after the game takes place. So just subscribe to stay up to date for all this. This video will be in my Notre Dame football playlist, my Notre Dame preview playlist, and just my sports in general playlist. Feel free to check all those out, and you can see more videos like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Cam A. Preston signing out. See you guys later.